Hey guys, welcome back to the Cool Classic Kids Show. A lot of people would call me a Sony hater in modern day. And to be fair, I don't blame people for having this assumption, because I've been highly critical of PlayStation. The PS5 generation had not at all panned out the way that I thought it would. And I'm very critical because I wanted Sony to get better, but it seems as though, in my opinion, at this point, the PS5 generation is just it's a wash. Sad to say. And I bought two PS5s day one, pre-ordered them both, based on the my general happiness of PS4 generation. Like, as much of a hater as people want to say that I am about PlayStation, I was a huge fangirl of PS4 generation. Like, I did nothing but shit on Xbox One because Xbox One was one of the worst console generations ever. Um, I was very much a PlayStation gamer. Yes, I dabbled in PC because I had a gaming laptop at the time, and I also played a decent amount on Nintendo Switch. But PlayStation 4 was my premier platform. I had PS4. I bought a PS4 Pro. I bought. I have so many PS4 games. It's insane, guys. Like, physical media wise, and even digital media. A lot of the so-called fanboys of PlayStation. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I own more PlayStation content than all of them. And you know, my trophy list, while it's not the best, it's certainly not the worst either. I haven't really played video games consistently on PS4 in a very long time, and I know that my trophy list is a lot higher than a lot of, so-called fanboys out here. But the first strike with PlayStation for me, personally, was with The Last of Us Part 2. And it's not because of what everyone else says, all right? It's not because Joel got fucking clubbed in the head. No, I knew Joel was gonna take a L based on the decision that he had made in part one. Obviously, there was gonna be repercussions for that. I wasn't surprised by that at all. However, when they announced The Last of Us Part 1, they told us there would be a multiplayer attached to Part 2, when they announced Part 2, excuse me. And that's what I was very excited for. Of course, I was excited for the story before we knew Abbyzilla was a thing, and that Abbyzilla was going to be the primary character. That basically everyone else was going to suck balls in order to prop up Abbyzilla. So that even before I knew about any of that, before that leaked out, I was not on board with part two, just specifically because it basically Sony said that they were going to make factions its own thing entirely. And with that, I said, well, this game is only worth $30 because part one had the single player, multiplayer. I had triple the amount of hours on The Last of Us Part 1 just because I had that multiplayer attached. And I was like, wow, I'm not going to play this game nearly as much. And then when all the leaks came out, I was like, yeah, I'm not really interested. I'm not hyped to buy this game. I waited till the game was $30, which was all it was worth to me, to then still be disappointed somehow. So that was like the first bad encounter I had with PlayStation. And then a lot of people would just fucking go on to say, well, Factions is gonna be its own thing. So if you're a Factions fan, you're gonna get something even bigger just for Factions to get fucking canceled. So me bitching about Factions 2 not being in The Last of Us Part 2, yeah, vindicated as per usual. Yeah, I don't, just because Sony says they're gonna do something, I don't just automatically assume that it's gonna happen. You know how many times things that were planned never just fall through entirely from a gaming industry? Yeah, just because they said they announced that it's gonna happen with Factions being its own thing, I never assumed that that was gonna come to market. Did I think it was gonna get canceled? Not necessarily, but I'm looking at what they said and how they decided, hey, we could make more fucking money and turn this into a live service and fuck our audience way more than we otherwise would have, just throwing a basic multiplayer Factions 2 into Last of Us Part 2. So it's hilarious that the cope for many years was like, well, it's gonna be its own thing, Cass, just wait for it, stop bitching and whining, just for the fucking thing to never come out. So that was, PlayStation fanboys, they just assume the best all the time. And this has really caught up to them. Like, it has caught up so badly because they just follow everything that Sony says. They're not even remotely skeptical. And now it is completely blown up in their fucking face because so many games have been canceled. They went from 12 live service games that they had planned to just 6. And then what happened just recently, guys? God of War and Ben's Studio live service games have been canceled by Sony. And Ben Studio's no slouch, guys. Ben Studio did Days Gone. right? And I was really anticipating a sequel to that because Days Gone was a game that was almost like super high tier AAA, but wasn't quite there. It was like so close to being a high tier AAA game. But there were some quirks that I think Sony Ben, like, with their next game would have become that premier AAA developer that's up there with some of their best. You know what I mean? They were so close to that with Days Gone. I was highly anticipated just for them to say, yeah, we're not doing a Days Gone Part 2, motherfuckers. And then to find out they're doing some live service garbage that then gets canceled, bro, it is so aggravating. It's like, if I don't laugh, I'll cry, you know? But all these games got canceled. Another 2 live service projects by PlayStation have been canceled, according to a new report. Projects in the works by Bluepoint Games and Sony Ben were both canceled following a recent review. Why the fuck is Bluepoint doing a live service game? Why is Ben's studio doing a live service game? Who thought this was a good idea? It is so aggravating to see good talent being wasted on money-making dog shit. Because Bluepoint is solid, Ben's studio solid. Who asked for a God of War freaking live service game? Like, Jim Ryan cooked this company. Jim Ryan was a boomer that thought this would be cool. And if anybody actually heard like these plans, everyone would have looked at him like he is the old boomer in the room that has no idea what people want. He became like the last couple of years of Vince McMahon. Like, he became that, like, in terms of running the show. Like, it is crazy. This old fuck cooked PlayStation. He said, while it's unclear what Ben was working on, Bluepoint was reportedly working on a God of War live service game. Oh my God, bro. Bluepoint wasting their time. You know, video games, a lot of them take like 5 to 10 years to make at this point when they're AAA developed. And just throwing away years on garbage is so sad. It's so sad to think that they actually waited all these years of development time. All the things that when Bluepoint got acquired, everyone was like gushing at the games that they might be making and remaking. All right, because Legend Dragoon was a big one that a lot of people were saying like would be awesome if they remade, or Metal Gear, or tons of PS1 games that people would have loved to have seen Bluepoint bring to life again. And then we found out that apparently they were making their own game, which everyone was cool with. Everyone was like, oh wow, Bluepoint's actually making their own game and not doing a remake. This is interesting. We're interesting to see their vision, what they're inspired to create. Just to learn that they were thrown to the side to do a bullshit live service God of War game that ends up getting canned. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. 2 more live service games from PlayStation have been canceled by Sony, one of which was an alleged God of War title, and 2 unannounced projects were being helmed by Bluepoint Games and Ben Studio, both first-party developers for Sony PlayStation. And guys, look, man, as much as people want to pretend they bought PlayStation 5s for something else, the reality is, especially if you were a first-year PS5 purchaser, right? The reality is that you bought a PS5 for first-party exclusives. That's what I bought them for, all right? I bought 2 PS5s because they're first-party content I looked forward to. All right, the mass majority of early PS5 purchasers bought into PS5 because the premier thing about PlayStation was their first-party studios. Okay, they had first-party that was able to do things that seemed like third-party just couldn't do. And PS5 comes out, and it's just it is a big fucking it is like a nothing burger. It is so sad. Like, the releases are so few and far between when it comes to their major first-party titles. They have to money hack games to just make it seem like there's releases, things to be hyped about, because first-party just isn't there, man. And with all these projects getting canceled, them being forced to do live service garbage instead of what they're known for, it is disappointing. And watching all these games get canceled, hilariously, right after all the people ran out to go buy a PS5 Pro, it is even funnier. Like, Sony has treated you guys just exactly like you deserve to be treated. All right, like cheap streetwalkers. That's what That's what PlayStation fanboys are. They're really cheap streetwalkers. Like, that's what they get treated like by Sony. Like, to have all these games get canceled coincidentally, like, what, 3-4 months after the big rush to go buy a PS5 Pro and cap for the PS5 Pro, and then Mark Cerny having to come out and clarify exactly what little power you guys paid for when you ran out to go spend $700 on that giant pile of dog shit. Hilarious. Like, you guys have been played to a T. And the fact that some people don't recognize that is the funnier part. Like, you've been played like a fiddle and you don't even realize it. It's just this major cope. And what's also interesting about these cancellations is that a Horizon MMO has been canceled. It's like, who asked for this, bro? PlayStation console gremlins do not play MMOs. So, like, who are they making this for? It's just hilarious. And PlayStation had like a dozen games, it felt like, or at least 6 games, I can't say exactly for sure, planned around the Horizon franchise. And every time I would hear just how many more games they had planned around this franchise, I'm just like, who sees all of this in this franchise, bro? Like, Horizon is just bland as hell to me. It's like, I don't know, it's just weird. But over a year ago, Sony announced a strategic partnership with Korean publisher NC Soft, whatever the fuck, with the speculated goal of creating a multi-platform MMO based on the Horizon franchise. Oh my god, they were trying to get they were trying to get PC gamers on board because you know that PlayStation fanboys wasn't playing this shit. At the time, CEO Jim Ryan said, partnering with NC Soft advances our strategy in expanding beyond console and broadening PlayStation's reach. Oh my god, bro. Yo, that's crazy. That's insane, bro. Yo, Jim Ryan is like the joke of gaming. This dude killed his company. He was the boomer that was pretending to be cool. That's really it's funny. The game named both Project H, Project Skyline internally, was apparently targeted for PS5, PC, and mobile. Oh my god, it's gonna be a mobile game too. It just gets worse, bro. As part of PlayStation's aim to reach more players, but that game appears to have been canceled. Yo, that's insane. Wow, that's nasty work, bro. This shit is laughable. It is so funny what Jim Ryan thought was gonna be cool. I don't know how people don't find this disappointing, bro. They don't find this disappointing. It's crazy. Everyone says Xbox is dead, and given I think Xbox, they're sometimes it's like once in a blue moon I'm excited for a game that they release, but they are a fucking mess in their own right. But at least they have a general release schedule down, which I can at least appreciate that there's games to look forward to, whether I'm gonna like them or not is a whole other thing. But they seem to have dedicated themselves to having a reasonable release schedule to interest players. There's going to be a showcase just in 2 days. So as much as everyone, all the PlayStation fanboys want to say Xbox is dead, Xbox is dead, Xbox is dead every time there's bad news about Xbox, at least they got games that people seem to be excited for. Like, I'm excited for Doom Dark Ages. All right, I'm excited for Expedition 33. These are major video games that look phenomenal from what we've seen so far. So you could say Xbox is dead all you want, but PlayStation didn't die. It was fucking murdered, all right? And what's crazy is the dude that's running shit right now, he's responsible for Concord. He was responsible for Concord. Jim Ryan was responsible for the mass majority of these live service catastrophes. And what is first party now, bro? What is first party now? Fair Games with their garbage, steal from the rich, bullshit live service game, Marvel's Wolverine that got leaked online, and that's just a mess in itself. And it's looking like some DEI garbage if they do a Mary Jane with Wolverine, right? We'll have to wait and see, though. Obviously, guys, I don't like to jump to conclusions. You have their money-hatted games. First party is a joke. We have Ghost of Yote, which, with every PlayStation release now, it just seems like we have to make concessions. No Jin Sakai and a Ghost of Tsushima sequel. That is a concession someone has to make. Marvel's Wolverine. It seems as though they're not learning from their mistakes. And then, of course, the king of not learning from their mistakes, Naughty Dog, who's so fucking pretentious. They just think they could continue to burn bridges and that people are going to flock and run for their games and they're going to sell as much games as they used to. Intergalactic is not going to sell nearly as much as even The Last of Us Part 2. And The Last of Us Part 2 was a huge decrease in sales, all right? We have Intergalactic, which you got to play as another ugly ass female protagonist nobody asked for. Oh my god, it's Abbyzilla all over again. Like I said, Fair Games with their live service garbage game, steal from the rich. You know, blah blah blah. Um, Marvel's Wolverine. Was it Marathon? I I don't even know what to think about Marathon. Bungie is a fucking disaster. So that am I really excited for that? No, not really, brother. And once again, Ghost of Yote, I couldn't care less because the main protagonist is not Jin Sakai. So this is a huge degradation of Sony's first party. Uh, and it sucks, man. It's not like I want to feel this way. But the reality is what it is. And a lot of the cope artists, man, oh, just wait till just wait till Naughty Dog, just wait till Sony Ben, just wait till Ghost of Tsushima 2. Like that's just a modern wait till E3. And a lot of PlayStation fanboys sound a lot like the Xbox One fanboys I used to make fun of. So I'm not here to defend Xbox because they're indefensible. I've been making fun of Xbox One the entire PS4 generation. I used to dunk on fanboys all the time. Now I'm just indifferent to Xbox. If they give me games, they give me games. If they don't, I don't care. You know, like at the end of the day, at some point you come to a realization that just blatant disdain. You know, you come to terms with it for a specific company that you used to champion, because I was an Xbox 360 primary gamer, and then I switched over to PS4. But yeah, at some point you're just like, you just become indifferent to the situation that is not so good. But to sit here and still champion PlayStation after all this shit, like you were a massive joke. Like you were such a joke. And I'm glad to know that I wasn't just, how do you say, like jumping to conclusions on things. I saw where the writing was with PlayStation, and thankfully I backed away, and I basically just started to PC game more. And that was, you know, I made that transition a few years ago when I built my own PC, and now I'm here. I'm gaming on PC. I don't even really care about PlayStation releases. I have no problem waiting what year for a PlayStation release, and that's even if I have interest in the game. I will be playing, for example, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in just like a day or two. So that's going to be interesting in its own right. But yeah, I have no problem waiting for these games. The interest and hype behind the brand of PlayStation is dead. It is dead. It sucks to say, but it's dead. It's not like PS4 generation. A lot of people wanted to argue semantics and oh, well, if you stack up these games, blah, 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 like, it's actually not so bad. It actually might be better than PS4 generation. Fuck out of here, bro. All right. Bafangul. Like, I don't know what to say, man. I don't want to sit here and say I'm taking a victory lap, but I am. I'm glad that I foresaw the state of PlayStation. I didn't expect it to collapse this badly, but apparently it is. Sony first party is dead. It is dead. That's what I bought into PS5 generation for. Ponies that bought PS5 Pros just to end up seeing all the games to look forward to essentially be burned before they ever see the light of day. Not that you should put out a garbage live service, mind you. It's better that it's canceled. But the reality is, a bunch of these developers wasted years of development time that they now have to restart in order to bring a game to market. And that sucks, especially when games nowadays take 5+ years to make. But yeah, guys, this is pretty much what it is. It's sad to have to say it, but I have to say it. And it's not because I want to hate on Sony. It's really because a lot of people try to act like I was insane for, you know, basically defecting from PlayStation because I'm not a corporate cock gobbler like a lot of you guys out here are. But I saw the writing on the wall and I made a decision, and it seems like from everything that I'm seeing here, the decision was clearly correct. And for people to try and argue semantics or to argue about petty shit or like bring up nonsense is we're over it. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. You just look like a Sony ball gargler. That's really what it is at the end of the day. But guys, let me know what you think about this entire situation in the comment section down below. If you can, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me over on Twitter at Mario Kart if you want to continue the conversation. Consider becoming a channel member, instant access to the Discord, cool emotes for the live streams we have. I will be streaming the Microsoft event Thursday. I'll go live, I think, at 12 noon, and like an hour essentially before the event itself. And the Twilight Zone of Gaming live stream will be moved from Thursday 8 p.m. to Friday 8 p.m. EST. So come hang out with me then. And yeah, guys, with all that being said, I'm out. Peace.